Namaste everyone. Welcome to the Cārvāka podcast. This is your host kushalmehra, and he is looking for Aadit, who has just popped up.
My apologies. A last minute snafu with the voice, but all fixed now. All good. Ready.
All right, cool. So, So Adit, before we start talking about अभी मैच चालू एज ऑफ नाउ फर्स्ट वनडे है, चौथी विकेट गिर गई है, 17 for 4 है इंग्लैंड वनडे में, फर्स्ट ओडीआई में 5.3 ओवर्स में. सो मतलब क्या हो रहा है मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा था, मगर हो गया है. बट बिफोर वी स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट द सीरीज, आई वांट टू I just have to control my laughter. The greatest thing in the history of the human race, I think, is what we're going to talk about first. I mean, long live Gujarat, long live Gujarati acumen. And to all those people in the West, who said, why is India not against Russia and not doing something about Russia? This is our answer. So the story goes, apparently, as per India Today, a group of farmers and young kids, basically, they were caught for running a fake Indian Premier League racket, and they basically उन्होंने Russian punters को उस पे bet कर रहे.
It is the most unbelievable thing ever. I think.
उनका वीडियो देख रुक जा.
Yeah. While Kushal is sharing the video, I'll tell. Not only did they hire fake players and fake umpires, they even hired fake Harsha Bhogle.
Yes.
That is the best thing.
This is the great Indian Premier League that Russians were betting on. Chennai Fighters, Gandhinagar Chal. Oh my goodness.
Gandhinagar Chal. नहीं मतलब they were so honest about their scam कि उन्होंने छल लिख दिया था टीम के नाम पे, और फिर भी they were managed to. I mean, it is unbelievable. And it is said, according to reports, right? I mean, that apparently the guy who was running the scam was telling the umpire on walkie-talkie what to do, and the umpire छक्के चौके ऐसे कर रहा था. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Look at the umpire, yaar. Umpire is so pathetic. The best is current run rate का तूने एक next में तेरे को फोटो दिखा था. Good catch by someone. Look at this. Current run rate infinity.
It's unbelievable.
The people, the damn Russians, they actually voted on this shit.
It's unbelievable. No, and the best part is that there is absolutely no, I mean, nothing you can do to say this. I mean, obviously, we are not justifying any scam here and stuff. And whoever did this should be brought to the book. But it just, at many levels, the story is so outlandishly hilarious.
इसको तो मतलब this deserves a Netflix series, boss. Please.
No question. ये मतलब Jamtara and all that move over Jamtara and all this. This is a funnier and a better series or something like that.
Oh my goodness! So, I mean, nothing can beat this, man. This what the hell are these people doing?
It's unbelievable.
The name of the teams is Chennai Super King, Mumbai Indians and Gujarat Titans. को ये लोग ने बनाया था kids.
No, and the best part, the best part about this, apart from absolutely everything, is just how outrageously insane the whole video is. If you see the video, like ऐसा मतलब लगान का भी मैच इससे ज्यादा रियल लग रहा है.
And the Russians are so stupid. They were betting through a Telegram channel.
Wow, it's unbelievable.
And
But I
the
mean,
article says the fake umpire would then signal the bowler and batsman to hit a 6-4 or get out.
नहीं मतलब ये बेसिकली ये फेक अंपायर का वो भी नहीं था. दिस वाज लाइक अ गुजराती थाली. वो पता है गुजराती थाली में 1 2 3 4 करता है तो पापड़ लाओ, अचार लाओ, फरसान लाओ. तो बेसिकली द अंपायर वाज डूइंग, अच्छा नंबर 2 चलो छक्का मार दो, नंबर 3. सो दिस वाज, इसमें this was the biggest hit. They had used the same sort of coding that they use in Gujarati thalis to basically serve up a thali of essentially bullshit on TV, and people
Loved
fell
it.
for it.
I loved it. This has to be the most entertaining thing I've seen in my life. Like, you know what? Now anybody in the West accuses us, of not
No,
doing something to
मुझे
Russia.
नहीं बॉस, मुझे तो ये सुनना है. How does fake Harsha Bhogle sound? Like
Yes.
I really want to know. I mean, and boss, they found someone from Meerut. I think that's what the matlab, not only were they like doing this scam at a quasi international level or something, they were also looking for talent across the country. Like उन्होंने commentator in Meerut से ढूंढा. So I really want to know.
और तेरे को
It's
मालूम है उनकी जरूरत देख वो वो लोग YouTube पे इसका स्ट्रीम कर रहे थे.
हाँ, they're doing it live on YouTube ना. मतलब it's unbelievable.
और कितने बेशरम लोग हैं, बोलते हैं स्कैम करेंगे, दुनिया को दिखाएंगे, और रशियन लोग बैठ के अरे पैसा डाल मेरा पैसा.
And I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Like ये जो मतलब ये जो कहानी है ना, I mean you know this is shit like when truth imitates fiction, or truth is even worse than fiction and stuff. So it's absolutely crazy, and thoroughly entertaining. So,
It was
but
the
Kushal,
best bit.
yeah, I mean, what do you make? Like, what do you make though? Is this even more entertaining than Virat Kohli's batting?
No. See, Virat Kohli ka to we'll come to Kohli. But before we come to Kohli, let's start with this. Okay, so Test match has
हाँ,
finished. Obviously, India versus England का Test match खत्म हो गया है. The fourth test, no, sorry, the fifth test, because ये 5 test match series थी कि 4 test match series थी.
five.
5
So
थी ना.
एक draw था, yeah, there was one draw, and then now the series is 2-all. Or
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
series ends 2-all. So just to recap the score, India scored 416 in the first innings with Jadeja and Pant scoring centuries. England responded with 284. India was bowled out for 245, and then England massively, basically giving us an ass whooping by chasing down 378,
मतलब
where they basically just lost 3 wickets, and both Joe Root and Johnny Bairstow scored fantastic hundreds, and Johnny Bairstow scored hundreds in both innings. And I mean, you have to give it to England. I mean, kudos to them. A fantastic, turnaround by England
absolutely,
under the new
absolutely.
captain, Ben Stokes. And to chase down something like this in the fourth innings was magnanimous. I mean, full marks to England. But what were your thoughts about the team selection in the first place? The team we selected.
I mean, हम लोग तो मतलब you can go back to our last year's podcast and our views that it was quite pathetic to have a team where there was no Ravichandran Ashwin again, and a very ineffective Shardul Thakur. I have said this on here, saying Shardul Thakur will only be effective if you have a swing bowling option there, and if the ball isn't swinging, this is not early summer, this is not early June, and the ball is essentially doing nothing. You cannot have bowlers who are pushing the ball across and getting whacked across the line, which is what happened with Thakur and Mohammad Siraj. So Thakur gives, I mean, they should have seen it in the nets if his ball was coming out right or wrong, because Shardul is your blow hot, blow cold option. Having said that, my pick would for the attack for this thing would have been Jadeja, Ashwin, and then the three seamers, Shami, Bumrah, and Siraj. For the simple reason that Ashwin provides you with a little bit of control and a little bit of variation. As it turns out, in the first innings, you barely needed. I think Thakur picked up one wicket or something.
Yeah, he picked
You
up
barely
one.
needed him. Yeah, and then in the last innings, when even freaking Jack Leach was turning the ball, you needed that option of Ravichandran Ashwin, especially when these guys were going hammer and tongs. And it did not help that Hanuma Vihari dropped a relatively straightforward chance of Johnny Bairstow when he was like 14 or something, and him in this form. And I have no idea what Virat Kohli was doing, but essentially he did to Johnny Bairstow what Tim Paine did to Ashwin and the other Indians in Sydney, riled him on an informed batsman to make sure, and run. There is. I'm okay with Kohli's aggression. I'm okay with him taking on the team or something. But right now he looks like a little bit of a petulant child, and because who cannot get his act together, so he goes and sledges, and he sledges the one person in the form of his life who smashes 2 centuries in one test against India.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. In fact, I remember you and I had discussed this specifically that it's a turning wicket. We should go with Ashwin. I mean, Jadeja clearly, proved his selection by scoring a wonderful 100. But then somebody has to talk about it. Jadeja as a bowler was looking woefully short, right, in the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
innings.
He's not at all. He's not at all a frontline spinner. Ye pata hai, this is as dumb as New Zealand having that. Who's that guy who won? Gave them a Bracewell, who gave them a match-winning 100 against Ireland in one day. But Johnny Bairstow like hit him out of the park for fun. He had like 12 overs for 80 or something like that in the last innings, where England chased down more runs. So I think that's the thing. If Jadeja as a player can hold up one end, but he's very like a Jack Leach type spinner. Like he's not an attacking spinner who can give you wickets on pitches that do nothing or just do a little bit of turn.
Yeah, I think definitely the Indian team missed a trick by not picking Ashwin over here. I don't know what's with the Indian team. I mean, I don't understand. Why do they have this obsession with their fast bowlers? I don't know. Um, I just find it absurd, and it is what it is. I mean, as of now, by the way, fifth wicket of England down. They are 26 for 5 in the one day international.
Unbelievable,
I
unbelievable.
mean, I
So
don't know what.
even मतलब ये तो ऐसा हुआ that even if we had Virat Kohli batting from 1 to 6, we would have won the one day international.
Yeah.
If England is 5 down for 26.
So now let's get into. अभी तूने विराट का नाम ले ही लिया है.
Uh,
Now let's discuss Virat Kohli's form. Now a lot of
hmm.
commentary has been made on Virat Kohli. I think even Venkatesh Prasad made that cryptic tweet on Twitter, right? That was all basically about Virat only, na?
Before you get into Virat, I have to say Jasprit Bumrah bowling one of the best spells of his life, 4 for 6 in 4 overs with one
Mm.
maiden,
Yeah,
outstanding.
yeah.
Sorry, live. Huh?
Bumrah being Bumrah. So I think Kapil Dev has said विराट को ड्रॉप करना चाहिए या रेस्ट करना चाहिए. कपिल देव के राइट वर्ड्स होंगे रेस्ट करना चाहिए.
Hmm.
या जाके डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट खेले. आई थिंक मेन
Hmm.
तो वेंकटेश प्रसाद का मैंने ट्वीट पढ़ा था. उसने बोला था भाई ऐसा क्या स्पेशलिटी है. हम लोग के टाइम पे जब हम खेलते थे बड़े से बड़े प्लेयर, बड़े कुंबले हो,
Mhm.
गांगुली हो, बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स को बिठाया गया था. तो ऐसा कौन सी बड़ी बात है कि विराट को नहीं बिठाया जा सकता है. Now let us look at the point made by Venkatesh Prasad on principle. I think on principle Prasad is right, yeah. I mean, but the point
Absolutely.
is, but we look at the statistics also. At a time when Kohli is failing, he still ends up making more runs than most of the others. So the point is, if that is the basis, then how can you make Kohli go away? मतलब उसने बाकियों से तो ज़्यादा ही रन बनाया है फिर भी.
Absolutely. No, but there is another thing na here. देखो, what statistics are we looking at? Just T20s, just one dayers, just test matches? Because I think Kohli as a T20 player is essentially a bit of a liability now. Or a one day. I do not think he walks into any T20 team in the world, least of all India. right? Like, how can you justify dropping an in-form Deepak Huda for Virat Kohli, who's come up with, like, I don't know, a very ugly one? And the reason I say an ugly one is, मतलब वो कैसे out होता है वो भी तो देखो. I mean, with the most ungainly, insane shot. Like it's unbelievable. Like I cannot even imagine anyone else, like, surviving a shot selection like this. What do you think? I mean,
Yeah,
can you imagine, like,
yeah, it's just he's gone into a very bad uh, form, and I don't know when he's going to come out. Like, we always say you need that one innings to get you out of that, but that one innings just
yeah,
doesn't seem to come for Kohli. I mean, it's been now, even if we discount the 1 year of no cricket because of COVID, it's been two
yeah.
years now since the man has scored
No,
100.
no. Arey bhai, not even that. I think it's not even just one innings or something. I think the biggest problem is, and the biggest issue on his side is what he's looking to do out of it. Like the other day, he was looking to hit out of trouble. Like, boss, have you ever seen a Sachin Tendulkar knock when he's out of form? That very comes out just all guns blazing. And the problem with Virat Kohli is some others. There is a few accounts on Twitter who are like cricket fanatics, self-claimed. 100 200,000 की reach है. And they are also this Virat fanatic group. So जब विराट कोहली ने एक सिक्स मारा, मतलब they started describing it like विराट कोहली तो मतलब अब तो आ गया, अब तो आ गया. And then he gets out and they're like, अरे लेकिन उससे पहले उसने क्या क्लास दिखाया, एक शॉट मारा. So I honestly think that either Virat is surrounded with people like that or is listening to people or something like that, because it's just not going to him, the advice, whatever it's going. And I've been listening to Ravi Shastri in the Sky Sports commentary box, and it seems to be the same thing. He still seems to be justifying every single thing that Virat Kohli did.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think Virat Kohli, I honestly believe Virat Kohli, all he needs is to go back to domestic cricket, score a few runs, get that confidence of scoring a few runs
अरे पर
back.
वो ईगो की बात हो जाती है ना, कि अरे मुझे डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट भेजा. एंड फॉर ऑल द पीपल हु आर सेइंग दैट,
यार गांगुली गया
अरे
था यार डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट, यार
I
पुजारा
agree
गया
with you.
डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट.
No, I agree with you. I'm saying that for all the discussions that people have about Virat Kohli, they're like, he might still be averaging 40 or 50. No, boss, that's not good enough. If you have your topmost player in his prime, he cannot be scoring 840s and averaging 40 and say that he's not doing that bad. You need one big innings from him every few innings. Matlab, in test matches, in one day, some or the other place. I honestly want to know a graphic of, say, someone like a Sachin Tendulkar in this similar phase in his career when he was, say, about 32, 33 or something, and kind of map how many innings, in like between how many innings were like between a century or a match-winning knock or something like that. If we had a target of 200, and if Kohli stood not out for like 80 not out of 60 balls or something like that, then I would count it as equivalent to a century that he took us to a knock. But he's not even playing those. So I still have yet to see a Virat Kohli knock where he carries us to the end of the innings.
You know what is amazing is that Sachin had one of his best years at the fag end of his career.
Yeah, when he
If
was
you
37.
remember, 37, Sachin retired at the age of 40, and even when he was 40, he looked like he was a proper guy. To compare, I mean, Sachin, that's why we always say there is only one Sachin Tendulkar and there is never going to be one more Sachin Tendulkar. People don't realize the man played from 1988-89 international cricket, 87 से लेकर till when he played at 2011 तक खेला था वो.
No, and I want to add something, boss. In 2010 or 11, if you say that if Virat Kohli has IPL and stuff like that, at that time even Sachin had IPL.
Yes.
So during one of his best years, he was still fully playing for Mumbai Indians in IPL.
Yeah, and I don't know how else to say it, but I think Virat needs to, because Virat Kohli is too important a player for India. Like, I'm a Virat Kohli fan. I've never hidden it.
मतलब ये गुस्सा इसीलिए आ रहा है because we are Virat Kohli fans and we can see how India is suffering because Virat Kohli is not performing.
Yeah, and it is very important for our victory that Virat Kohli performs. In fact, one of the reasons we dominated for so long was because Virat was performing. So we need Virat back. I think he should go back to domestic cricket. Play like,
Hmm.
look, Pujara को एक सीरीज बिठाया तो फायदा हुआ ना. He scored that very important 50. So it's not that Pujara being back is very good. I think Rahane को बिठाना was the most sensible thing. But yeah,
Hmm.
Virat is very important, and I don't know what to do because let me tell you, our batting lineup in general. अभी
Hmm.
पंत ने बचा लिया, जडेजा ने बचा लिया ये
नहीं,
टेस्ट मैच में.
ये पता है क्या होता है? This is we found enough adequate sort of clothes to cover us from complete embarrassment because of the 50s and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, this is a test we should have won very comfortably. It's not often you get a lead of like 150 or something, and look at the freaking shots you played in the last innings to get out. Right? Matlab, they were all harakiri. They were setting bouncer traps and stuff, and we guys were getting bounced out. Another thing I want to add is, and we've talked about this, and I've repeated this on this podcast ad nauseum, Shreyas Iyer cannot play the short ball. And every single game, including the T20 series, they're bouncing him, and that man has had no clue of how to play it. And if he cannot play Boss World Cup, he cannot be selected. He just doesn't belong to the international level. But what do you expect Perth में, Melbourne में, where the ball is going to be bouncing a little bit? How is he going to play it in Australia? वहाँ पे Eden Gardens जैसी छोटी boundaries नहीं होती. How is he going to clear them with the short ball? He's going to get bounced out every single game.
Yeah, and you know the only amazing thing that we have discovered in the last 5 years is Rishabh Pant. He has clearly shown that he is a class apart. Again, through this century, what a innings वैसे क्या खेला है बंदा यार.
क्या
मतलब
खेला है यार?
क्या खेला है. And Jadeja has proven his worth to be a very effective all-rounder. Even I think he needs, but the problem is his bowling in overseas. But I think Jadeja should have been in the side. जैसा हमने बोला कि I think Ashwin should have been in there instead of Shardul on that pitch. So overseas it's always a toss-up between Ashwin and Shardul while Jadeja remains in the side. I guess that's the future now. But I mean, looking at the batting side, unfortunately Rohit was not there. अगर रोहित होता था तो I guess ये और राहुल भी नहीं था. राहुल को क्या हो गया? केएल को.
No, Rahul was injured, na?
तो वही है
Rahul
ना.
the captain था पहले actually,
हाँ.
or vice captain, I forget, and he was injured, and that's why Bumrah stepped in.
या और
So
बुमराह ने अपना जबरदस्त बैटिंग दिखाई. 35 रन्स मार दिए. सोचता
oh
होगा
yeah,
कि क्या पीछे पड़े हैं.
yeah. But
स्टोन
but
ब्रॉड
Bumrah,
को हरा.
but Bumrah ki captaincy was not very good, I have to admit. Like, I'm a big fan of bowlers being captains, but he just looked clueless at times, and
I think he
at
looked
times it did
clueless in
not.
the fourth innings, not in the first innings. Hey, you have muted yourself accidentally.
हाँ, वही तो कैप्टनसी है ना. You I mean, it really depends on how you do when your chips are down. The first innings में he didn't have to do much. तब तो the chips, the team was at a high and things like that. And boss, another thing is, I honestly now am going to gauge an Indian captain by only one and only one thing. How will they captain Virat Kohli? Simple. If they still have to take Virat Kohli to the position of divinity or something, even when he's not responding, I mean, of course, I'm going to be judging them on other things also, but this is going to be a factor. If there are 10 factors about Virat Kohli, the 11th is going to be how they captain Kohli, because if he's not performing, he really needs to be dropped or something, without him dropping himself saying मुझे तो ये निगल है या मुझे तो ये problem है और मुझे ये है and वो है and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't know how else we do it. I think it's impossible to come to a scenario where, it is what it is. We've become that kind of, we've made Kohli into this big figure that we can't talk about it in a comfortable position. But ठीक है, अभी चल, let's go into your zone because मैंने तो T20 मैच देखे नहीं. So tell everyone क्या हुआ T20 series में. 3 match series and we won 2-1 apparently, and the third T20 apparently many people say is arguably one of the greatest T20 innings ever. Many people have said.
Yeah, one of the best. the greatest. So the first two were absolute dominant performances by India. One we won by 50 runs, the other we won by 49 runs. The emergence of Hardik Pandya, the all-rounder, where pretty much the first innings was मतलब उसी का personal T20 था, where he smashes 51 runs of 33 balls and hits basically a brilliant 50 and gets like 4 wickets. The second T20, Bhuvneshwar Kumar's re-emergence as our preeminent strike bowler, where he picks up 3 wickets and stuff, and we bowl out England for like essentially in 17 overs. So excellent performance. Firing on all cylinders, basically India, except of course in the second T20, Kohli replaces an informed Deepak Hooda and gets out for one, and even Dinesh Karthik did not fire at all this T20 series. So now we come from there to the third T20, where England bounces back and scores more than 200 runs. They scored 215. And India basically have their backs to the wall at 31 for 3 in 5 overs. And Surya Kumar Yadav plays one of the best T20 innings I've seen, with 117 of 55 balls, and nearly does the impossible and takes India to victory. Ultimately, India fell about like 20 runs short. But had he not been bogged down, I think Shreyas Iyer scored just 28 of 23, and Dinesh Karthik like scored 6 of 7. But even that was like he came and played and missed like 3 balls or 4 balls in 1 over, and basically what happens is that just broke the momentum. So and I'm a big fan of DK as well, but it just him and Iyer and just looked out of depth, and Surya just looked like he was playing on another sort of wicket. And I honestly think this deserved to be in a match-winning knock, because of just the sheer class and quality of the knock. And this knock, and if he continues this form, pretty much make sure that Surya will come to the World Cup as India's number 4 batsman. So as far as I'm concerned, in T20s at least, India has found its number 4, and we do not need to look any further.
Yeah, let's hope for what you have said eventually happens. But Kohli is not going to be dropped. That is for sure. I think what will happen is Surya Kumar Yadav might take the place of Dinesh Karthik, who might sit out. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I don't think Karthik can be in the squad. And honestly speaking, I don't know why we need 3 wicket keepers anyways in the playing 11. Ishan Kishan, I don't think deserves to be in the Indian 26. Forget Indian 15. I mean, that kid needs to
ऐसे मत
work.
बोल यार, मुंबई इंडियंस ने इतने पैसे दिए उसके लिए.
हाँ तो मतलब why should India suffer for Mumbai Indians going a little too crazy on IPL Amazon Prime Day? So, seriously, like 15 crore. And I think बेचारे को पता है क्या हुआ है? I think because Mumbai Indians paid 15 crores, उसके ऊपर pressure कुछ ज़्यादा ही बढ़ गया है.
So okay, so what will be your squad to the World Cup T20 in Australia, considering we are playing in Australia?
So, okay, first of all, I think Shikhar Dhawan would have been in my squad. I think it's insane to think that Shikhar Dhawan comes in the one-day squad but not in the T20 squad. He should just be in the squad as a replacement opener. उसको आपको नहीं खिलाना है, ठीक है, no problem. But I have a lot of problems with Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul and Virat Kohli being our 1, 2 and 3. Because वो तीनों same style में खेलते हैं. देखो, if you look at, और ये मैंने कुशल, I've told this on this podcast, Rohit can play in his team because Quinton de Kock or Ishan Kishan or someone else was the dasher at the other end. KL Rahul can do the same thing because there was another dasher. Now Quinton de Kock was with KL Rahul in Lucknow, and Virat Kohli can do that because someone else was dashing it in RCB. The problem with all three is they all three hit at a strike rate of 130. So hoga kya that even if they three there, India is going to be in like 6 overs, 40 for 1, 35 for 1, yeah, 50 for 2. I think we need to really tinker it up or something. And in my opinion, Virat Kohli needs to be benched from our T20 squad till he gets back into his zone, and someone like Rishabh Pant needs to be at our number 3. So my squad would be KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Rishabh Pant, Surya Kumar Yadav at number 4, Hardik Pandya at number 5, and then you have your Ravindra Jadeja. I mean, You can have your all-rounders then in Akshar Patel or Shardul Thakur or whoever, depending on what the situation is. And then certainly Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami being your bowlers, and Yuzvendra Chahal being your spinner. Because it's a criminal if Yuzvendra Chahal is not included. I would even have either Kuldeep Yadav or Ravichandran Ashwin in my squad, because both of them have had phenomenal IPLs, and both of them like really have that floater sort of thing. And if Chahal were to get injured or something, we would need a frontline attacking spinner.
Yeah, I guess. See, I don't watch T20 cricket, so I don't have strong opinions on T20 cricket. Like, I have a very strong opinion on a one-day side or a test match side. But
Yes.
all I know is Kohli is not going to be out of the side. That I can tell you.
But see, this is the tragedy. Now he needs, if Kohli is in the side, I would almost put Kohli in the opening, and then KL Rahul drops to number 4 or something,
What do
and
you
so
make
then
of Kohli and Rohit opening?
I don't mind that. And then KL Rahul has to come at number 4 and Surya Kumar at number 3, and who can like hit the ball or something. Because Surya Kumar Yadav has to play at number 3 or 4. I think he's absolutely wasted at number 5.
I think Surya Kumar Yadav at number 3 seems to be a good proposition, but Adit, on Aussie wickets, will Surya Kumar Yadav handle the Aussie wickets?
I don't know, but see, on Aussie, see, they've been playing with the same ball, na? It's going to be the white kookaburra. So I think Surya Kumar Yadav can play the bouncer pretty well. He just needs to basically get a little bit of a run, because they'll have practice matches and stuff to see how they how he can cope. But there is going to be another challenge also. This World Cup is in October, so it's at the beginning of the Australian summer. So the ball is going to do a little bit more, right? ये December या February में नहीं है, where there's going to be, the sun is going to be beating down, and it's going to be basically sit up nicely. I think there's going to be a little bit of swing and seam and things like that. So I think he has the technique to play swing and seam a little bit better. But Shreyas Iyer does not walk into my T20 squad at all. With his technique, no, it's not going to happen. And neither does, mind you, neither does Umran Malik. I know he has great pace and things like that, but boss, his radar is all over the place. And I think the youngster needs some time in domestic cricket before he comes international.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I think considering the clout Kohli has, you're just there. And also, to be very honest, I think he has the experience of playing on Aussie pitches, so I think he
Yeah,
might
yeah.
get that
No,
slight
no,
edge.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But then you cannot have multiple variations of Kohli playing in the Indian squad. I think they have to mix and match, and either, like, I mean, Rohit is obviously not going to be dropped. So KL Rahul either needs to be dropped or something, or he has to be told that, boss, your role is something else. Now you are our team's dasher. He has the game to do it, but he cannot lay himself in for like 20 balls, and Rohit also plays himself for 20 balls, and then India can't reach more than 140. Because I think that's what happened. Like, if that's how we suffered in in the T20s and stuff, in the other internationals. And what was different this time was India was going from ball one, like, and that's why this was different. And Rohit has tried to change his game also, but we really need to think of how we sort of approach this. But by the way, they opened with Rishabh Pant also in one of the T20s. I don't think that they should do that.
Yeah, Rishabh
Even
is far better at number 4 or number 5, in my
yeah, yeah.
opinion. He should not go there in the new ball. But I think India is no. I mean, if India makes it to the semi-final in the T20 World Cup, I would be surprised. I think Australia and Pakistan are the two favorite teams. I don't think so. England is. Australia and Pakistan are the favorites, in my opinion, for the T20.
No, I think England is as well, because England के पास वो X factor वाले एक दो players है, and they just need Josh Butler to basically go a little crazy. Once he does that, game over. It's anyone's game, because he just needs to get into. I mean, even right now, look at the team right now. England, by the way, is 47 for 5 now, and Butler has scored half their runs.
Yeah.
Like my point is, even if they're 16 for 4 and 26 for 5, that man just does not let go of momentum. Usko aata hi nahi hai to change gears and stuff like that. And if he said, even today, I'm telling you, if Butler plays 20 overs, England will score over 200 easily,
Hmm.
even with so many wickets down. So till they have that, and Malan and people like that. But my top four semi-finalists in this would be England, New Zealand, Pakistan, and Australia. As much as I hope that India makes the semi-final of the T20 World Cup, we just don't look that team yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. We're gonna make it. What did you make of Rohit Sharma's reply to the question in the press conference asked by that? अरे हम experts को नहीं सुनते. It was the question on Virat Kohli.
विराट कोहली.
Yeah.
हाँ नहीं, मतलब एक्सपर्ट्स को नहीं सुनते ठीक है, बट इस बार मुझे लगता है कि हम किसी को नहीं सुनते. आई मीन, आई दिस इज जस्ट एक्सपर्ट. I want to know which expert actually advised him on Virat Kohli, because I don't think any Indian commentator basically has the guts to tell the Indian captain to drop Virat Kohli. Indian commentators who want to avoid controversies just don't talk about it, or they just do basically go into that Jai Kohli sort of song and dance, saying, "Oh, you know, King ko dekho, kehle kaise khelta tha," and things like that. I can tell you 120 times, Kapil Dev, after he won the 1983 World Cup, if he played an ugly shot, which he did, after two, an irresponsible shot, the commentators would call him out. He was dropped actually for playing, badly and things like that. I see commentators not even talking about Kohli's shot selection or slump and things like that. And unfortunately, क्या हो रहा है कि when I'm in US, I'm right now, I'm in India right now. मैं जो matches देख रहा हूँ, I see them on Indian coverage. In US, when we get the matches, I see them on world feed. So अगर इंग्लैंड में मैच हो रहे हैं तो मैं स्काई क्रिकेट की कवरेज देख रहा हूँ, या ऑस्ट्रेलिया में फॉक्सटेल की. Their analysis on Kohli is more dispassionate as lovers of the game than Indian commentators. Here, they just, if he plays well, they'll praise it. But if he gets out, they just pretend like, oh, it was just so hard luck, bad luck, and then just move on.
Yeah.
No one's. So I want to know which experts is Rohit Sharma talking about, because the Indian experts that they listen to, they are not even talking about Kohli. I think it's people who are Indian cricket fans. They are just deeply disturbed to see the struggle, and the Indian captain and the board lacking the courage to tell him that, boss, you do need a break, and not a break where you spend a vacation in Maldives or some beach destination, but a break where you go into Ranji Trophy, maybe play England county cricket, score hundreds of runs, and come back.
Yeah, Kohli is very young, by the way. People forget that. Very
Yeah, he's
young.
33. He's
Yeah,
33. Like,
yeah,
I
he's
think
got
he's
a
still
good 3-4 years of cricket left in him.
Hmm.
And we need him as a
And,
test match player. We need Kohli as a test match player.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the fact is, you need him as a mentor. I
Yes.
love the chutzpah that he had. वो जो, the attitude that he took on Mitchell Johnson. From the gut, like, boss, Jackie, to hook him at Melbourne Cricket Ground is. I remember Bill Lawry, and guys, you should look up that innings where Bill Lawry, like, Kohli was just hooking Mitchell Johnson and just smashing him. And Bill Lawry was like, kitne saalon baad he was in his element, just shouting merrily as his beloved Aussies were being bashed around the park. And he said that this reminded me of David Hook smashing Tony Greig in the centenary test for 5 fours, but that bowling was rubbish. Of course, Bill Lawry and Tony Greig were great mates, so he could take a dig at his mate saying, it was rubbish, but this is a great fast bowler bowling at 140 kilometers an hour, and this batsman is bashing him. वो देखो, and अब का कोहली, that was a man who could do crazy things. Like, he could actually win you games from nowhere, and now it just seems like he can't get runs anywhere. Like, whenever he's batting, it looks like there are 20 fielders on the field.
Yeah, it's just insane. It's really sad. I mean, as a Kohli fan, it's just I don't know. So okay, before अभी one day series तो अभी चालू हुई है. I mean, so who do you think? Do you think India wins this series also, 3 one day series?
Difficult.
Because
I want
England
to
is a
say
very good ODI side, right?
So I want to say 2-1, yes, but I don't want to make predictions before England have bowled against us, right? Because हमने तो देखा ही है इंग्लैंड में मूविंग बॉल्स के अगेंस्ट इंडियन बैट्समैन की क्या हालत होती है. So the fan in me says yes, we're going to win 2-1, but it's going to be a little tough to win. I mean, as we speak right now, England is putting on a very decent partnership now. They have basically wrote like they've basically smashed 27 of the last 5 to 6 overs, and so initially 5-6 ओवर में बॉल अगर जब स्विंगिंग बंद हो गई, if England even can get up to 250, it's going to be a big ask for us to chase it down.
Yeah, I
So
understand. Okay, other cricketing news. So
अरे
Australia
I
lost
have
the
to.
test. Bol bol.
हाँ, नहीं, मैं वही बोल रहा था कि श्रीलंका में इट्स सो वी आर बिग बिग पॉलिटिकल बफ्स एंड क्रिकेट बफ्स, और श्रीलंका में बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सा हुआ. आई मीन इट इज अनबिलीवेबल. बाय द वे,
What is
पार्टी फॉर
happening
द.
there? उधर क्रिकेट मैच चल रहा है और ये लोग प्रेसिडेंशियल पैलेस और प्राइम मिनिस्टर हाउस को ले रहे
यस.
हैं. उधर बाथरूम में और स्विमिंग पूल में नाच रही है पब्लिक और उधर मैच भी चल रहा है. क्या हो रहा है ये?
Yeah, and by the way, apologies for the terrible lighting. I'm talking from a makeshift location. We should be back at full internet and full lighting speed in our next podcast. So thank you for our listeners for bearing with me. But
लगता है
मैंने
विकेट
मतलब
गई है, एक और विकेट गई है. 53 फॉर 6. तूने पनौती मार दी
excellent.
उनको.
अच्छा है ना, गुड ना, चलो.
हाँ, मोइन अली कॉट एंड बोल्ड प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा.
Lovely. Chalo, good. He's apparently pumped it back at his toes and he caught him. So it's excellent. नहीं, so Sri Lanka में problem ये है कि it's one of those macabre situations where the country has absolutely nothing to rally behind in terms of economy and situation, but they found two rallying points: their cricket team and the anger against the Rajapaksa family and the political class, and they have united. And how it's eerie how that. I mean, and to think about that, the Rajapaksas got elected back not too long ago, like what, it was 3-4 years ago or something. That
Yeah.
Gota Chacha and Mahinda Chacha were basically elected, and now Gotabaya Rajapaksa, he was trying to flee. I don't know if he actually fled, but
तो
there's
इंडिया
still.
ने उसको वीजा मना कर दिया ना. उसने बोला मेरे को इंडिया में आना है. इंडिया ने बोला तू जा इधर से.
But I think he might be in bigger danger if he lands in Chennai right now. Like, the anger against the Rajapaksa family is especially post what they did in Lanka when during their first in sections of Tamil Nadu is insane. So I don't know if he is going to. They at this point they only have this one ranting fellow on Twitter who is their biggest fan. Apart from that, there are no fans that they have in India.
डैनियल बड़ा खुश होएगा. श्रीलंका सेकंड टेस्ट मैच जीत गया ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अगेंस्ट.
अरे मैंने उसकी टाइमलाइन ही नहीं देखी. नो वंडर माय लाइफ
बहुत
हैज
दिन
बीन
हो
सो
गए
पीसफुल
डैनियल. मेरे
लेटली.
को मैं हर थोड़े दिन में जाके डैनियल की टाइमलाइन देखता हूँ ताकि मैं थोड़ा एंटरटेन हो जाऊँ. बड़ा मस्त आदमी है वो.
हाँ, but a very entertaining fellow. But no, it was very good for the game
So
of cricket, by the way. Sri
yeah,
Lanka.
just to share the match details. So Manas and Steve Smith scored 100. Steve Smith remained not out. There was apparently some controversy about the वो क्या बोलते हैं उसका वो review. So I don't know if you saw it. मैंने नहीं देखा है तो मैं कोई comment नहीं कर सकता. Somebody has even asked a question about Steve Smith's review. Then obviously in Sri Lanka's first innings, Dinesh Chandimal scored a double 100, bro. 206 not out, 5 sixes and 16 for boundaries.
And there was this phenomenal shot. I urge everyone to Google it, where Mitchell Stark pitched up the ball at 140 plus Ks and Chandimal smashed it out of the stadium. And when I say out of the stadium, it hit a spectator who was walking outside the stadium.
Wow.
Like, मतलब ball uske पैर पे लगी. Kushal, if you can look up that Chandimal 6 on Twitter while we are talking about it. हाँ, हम लोग अगर दिखा पाए तो it's brilliant. It's just an excellent shot. और पता है कुछ shots होते हैं ना, वो release shots where you're like, wow, you know, fast bowlers को you enjoy them, you know, bashing and bouncing and stuff like that. पर कभी ऐसे पड़ती है तो भी मजा आता है. The insane thing was how Australia capitulated in the second innings.
Photos है, video नहीं है. Photos है, video नहीं है.
Okay, well, I saw the video.
I'll share the video, मतलब photo.
If I can find the video, I'll share it.
ये वाला shot जो तू बोल रहा है ना, when he was on 189 and it came over here. Oh my goodness, उसका लग गई.
I'm telling you, it's unbelievable.
Oh, poor
मतलब,
guy. Poor
it's
guy.
yeah, it was an excellent shot. And matlab, I mean, Mitchell Stark was like bowling so hard, I mean, he was really bowling it fast.
What do you
So
make of Nathan Lyon, man? He just doesn't succeed outside Australia.
So last time I think वो थोड़ा बहुत खेला था, but he just looked out of sorts basically. So I'm gonna share I'm gonna send the basically the link, and I actually found the video, Kushal, and let's see if we can bring that up to our folks. And meanwhile, I think more than Nathan Lyon, boss, what Australia should be scared about is how they
ये
capitulated. उनको
कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक हो जाएगा भाई, ये कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक हो जाएगा, टेलीग्राफ वाले कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक कर देंगे इसको.
तो फिर रहने दो. Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
want this video to be we will tweet it out from our handles, guys. Just
Yeah, I have
see.
just retweeted it on my social media. आदित ने जो भेजा है, you guys can
हाँ.
check it out. I have just retweeted it on my social media.
But
वो
जबरदस्त
साला
shot है
एक
ना.
मस्त शॉट है, मजा आ गया देख के. What a shot.
So I was matlab, this is one of the things I was like just in the evening and someone texted it to me. It's like, yes, your shot dekh, and I saw it and I was like, wow.
By the way, Prabhat Jayasuriya took 12 wickets, 6 each in each innings. अरे वो नहीं खेला इनका वो एम्बुल दनिया.
No,
वो
no,
नहीं
no.
खेला.
And I think मुझे देखना है if he was injured or something, but मैंने ये यहाँ पे भी बोला है podcast पे that the re-emergence of Sri Lankan spinners, you have that you have Jayasuriya, Lasith Embuldeniya, Mahesh Tikshana, you have Dhananjaya De Silva, Vanindu Hasaranga. The riches of Sri Lankan spinners are finally filling in. Like जो पहले होता था ना, you had Murli, Mendes, Rangana Herad, and then suddenly sort of a complete lull where they couldn't just find spinners that were match winners. Finally, now Sri Lanka has spinners that are match winners. So I think it's going to be excellent. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know, Sri Lanka is now number 3 on the World Test Championship.
It seems Butler out हो गया.
हाँ मतलब चलो खत्म ही होगा ये तो.
59 for 7. बटलर भी
चलो
गया.
मैंने अच्छी पनौती लगा दी इंग्लैंड पे.
लगता है कि इंग्लैंड की इनिंग्स तो हमारी पॉडकास्ट जो अभी 10-15 मिनट में खत्म होने वाली है उसके पहले खत्म हो
जाएगी. We can say that we outlasted England's bizarre first innings batting effort at this rate. But Kushal, so South Africa is number 1 in the World Test Championship. Australia is number 2. Sri Lanka is number 3 and Pakistan is number 4 and India is number 5. So I think it's a phenomenal woe, and no one was expecting this because India was expected to beat South Africa in South Africa. Wo hua nahi. We lost 2-1. And India versus Australia हमारी अभी 4 टेस्ट मैच की सीरीज हो रही है. That just assumes so much more significance next year.
Yeah.
That is essentially, मैंने अभी लिंक ये भेजा है. Yeah, there you go. See, look at that. Isn't it phenomenal for world cricket if Sri Lanka is close to making it to the finals?
Yeah, but I don't think so. They will.
They won't. I'm sure they won't. But this is great that they are this close.
Yeah. See, we need more. We need good. At least we need 6 good test match sides. यार, हमको 6 अच्छी test match teams चाहिए. तो test match cricket के अंदर वो monetary interest और public interest रहेगा. We need 6 teams that are top quality in test match cricket. Right now we have 4 teams, which is a tragedy. 6 टीम होंगी ना तो test match cricket देखने में मजा आएगा.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you can't, I mean, now you have a couple of great series coming up. So basically, it's Sri Lanka versus Pakistan in Gaul, England versus South Africa, 3 test match series. I mean, I am now waiting to see any test match series with England because ये जो Ben Stokes और Brendan McCullum का play है, I mean, that is just going to be amazing. And South Africa is at the top of the game, right? And as Indian fans, we want South Africa to lose. So we are back at the top of the World Test Championship. So for after a long time, I'm going to be cheering for England to win again 3-0 in this.
जोफ्रा किधर है? जोफ्रा को क्या हो गया? उसको ऐसा क्या इंजरी हो गई कि खेलता ही नहीं है वो
मतलब उसको फ्रैक्चर होता है, फिर वो बॉलिंग करने जाता है तो एंकल उसका मुड़ जाता है, कुछ ये होता है और फिर वापस फ्रैक्चर. नहीं वो भी नहीं, उसको स्ट्रेस फ्रैक्चर हुआ है बॉस. आई थिंक इन द बैक. दैट इज व्हाट्स
खत्म. मतलब बेचारे का करियर चालू होने के पहले खत्म हो गया.
Yeah, ये शुरू होने से पहले खत्म हो गया. And
अरे man, that's terrible.
it's such a tragedy. मतलब Jofra is that bowler. You know, मुझे for our generation, boss, he was our Michael Holding.
He
मैंने
was
माइकल
amazing,
होल्डिंग को
man.
मैंने माइकल होल्डिंग को कभी लाइव स्टेडियम पे ऑब्वियसली नहीं देखा, बट माई डैड यूज टू टेल मी दैट डैड टेल्स मी दैट ही वुड जस्ट कम सिल्कली स्मूथ, मतलब विस्परिंग डेथ उसका नाम था, एंड वुड जस्ट डिलीवर द बॉल एट ferocious pace. And oh, by the way, this is why I love Ravi Shastri. Even if I have to tell you this. Ravi Shastri and Michael Atherton were having a commentary session, on Sky Sports. And Michael Holding used to be on Sky Sports, and he talks about the spirit of the game and things like that. Always and stuff. So Michael Atherton asked Ravi Shastri, when did West Indies switch to the four fast bowlers strategy? So Ravi said that in 1976, India chased down 406, that famous 406 for 4, and where Sunil Gavaskar, Vishwanath and all, they all played. And Clive Lloyd got mad and basically said that now we are going to have a fast bowling barrage, essentially, and we're not going to have spinners. And then they were talking about a test match where essentially India was in the lead, and the West Indies fast bowlers were coming across the wicket and essentially trying to hit the Indian bowlers, and Bishan Bedi withdrew, saying that they are not playing in the spirit of the game.
I
And,
remember.
and Michael Holding was one of them. For all his rants and talks about the spirit of the game now, तब वो basically मारने की कोशिश कर रहा था हाथ पे, to basically do what it takes to win. So Ravi Shastri,
I think it was Nari Contractor who was injured and
नहीं,
hospitalized
that
at
was
one point.
1962. That was
62.
1962.
That was the other.
हाँ, ये तो अलग था. So Ravi Shastri in the commentary box said, your Mr. Holding was also there, very much in the part of the West Indian bowling lineup, trying to hit and there was just complete silence in the Sky Sport cricket box. And I'm like, boss, that is the Ravi Shastri I missed in the commentary box. Ki, you want him to take them on, and I don't want a conflict in the commentary box, but if someone is basically trying to act like, the Clive Lloyd West Indians were complete upholders of the spirit of the game, I'm a big fan of the team, but some of the nonsense that they did when it came to fast bowling was very different to what they claim right now to stand for.
Yeah, true. Okay, थोड़े questions ले लेते हैं because I know you have to go in 5-7 minutes. So, okay, किसी ने लिखा है, finding this podcast more than the first one day we missed you, Adit. Please come more often. Well, he does come. Okay, Adit, can Deepak Chahar or Bhuvi can be a replacement for Shardul as fifth bowler in overseas seaming conditions? And who is the next number 3 for India? Can Hardik Pandya be back in test matches?
I think he can, but if Hardik Pandya has to come in test matches,
So.
he has to bowl. He has to bowl. Like, मतलब वो अगर 15 ओवर नहीं डाल सकता तो he can't be in test matches.
Can Hardik Pandya be a replacement for Shardul Thakur? Yes, probably.
Absolutely. That's the only slot I see him going fitting. And I would love to see Hardik Pandya in Australia in test matches. Boss, when the ball is like, bouncing and stuff, Hardik Pandya taking on that ball is outstanding to watch. But he can't come in as a full specialist batsman. No way. So, what was the second question about the number 3?
Yeah, who's the next number 3 for India? I think Pujara is the next number 3. I mean,
नहीं वनडे में या टेस्ट मैच में?
I think टेस्ट मैच में पूछ रहे हैं, मगर I think right now तो पुजारा है. पुजारा के बाद नंबर 3 I think शुभमन गिल को होना चाहिए.
I don't know if Shubman Gill can be number 3. Because
I think he should not be the opener. He's too good a player. I think he should be a number 3.
उसके पास shots बड़े. Like, I mean, man, I would pay to watch that man hit just to hear the sound that the ball makes when he hits the bat. मतलब वो पता नहीं कहाँ से middle ढूंढ लेता है और ठाक करके जो आवाज आती है ना when he plays, it is unbelievable. When he was playing the games with empty crowds and stuff, that's what I wanted to hear. Like, आवाज कैसी आती है out of the bat. And it's something else. In test matches, I think abhi Pujara to number 3 hai for the coming I think 2 or 3 years minimum. But maybe I mean Gill is an out of the box choice. If you are talking about a long term number 3, I honestly think Surya Kumar Yadav needs to be groomed to take over that role because उसके पास वो shots और range है. Does he have that patience to come on a swinging, ball and play out 6 maidens in a row? I'm not so sure. Like because of the T20. So if we see that, another player who can be a good number three, Sarfaraz Khan. That man
Hmm.
has been scoring runs for fun for
Yeah.
Mumbai in the Ranji Trophy. So I still think like और IPL बड़ी बकवास चीज है when it comes to that. Like हम लोग IPL के फॉर्म पे टेस्ट मैच टीम्स को सिलेक्ट करते हैं, which is nonsense. I don't understand how Shreyas Iyer plays in front of Sarfaraz Khan in a test match team. I understand giving Shreyas Iyer a run in a T20 or a one-day team, but if that man can't play fast bowling or the short ball, he can't be playing the test matches in India against Sri Lanka and scoring centuries and then based on that getting nods in Australia. I think Sarfaraz deserves that chance.
Yeah. Why was Natarajan not selected in the squad? Yeah, T20 squad. He wasn't. I don't know. I don't watch T20.
I just don't think Natarajan was very good in the IPL this year. He ये Natarajan के लिए the calls are coming based on his reputation from 2 years ago. But in a squad where Bumrah, Shami, and Bhuvi are there, I just don't see how Natarajan fits in. Our backup bowler is going to be either Siraj or Umesh Yadav. But Bhuvi is just that man has found another gear, boss. Like he is being like did you see the ball? Like I know you don't watch T20s, but did you see how he bowled Josh Butler?
Hmm. I did.
Yeah,
I
I
did.
mean for our listeners who didn't, it started about 6 or 7 inches outside of off stump and basically swung back like a snake and took out leg stump. I mean it was
Hmm.
unbelievable the way the ball swung.
Yeah.
So
68
if
for
we
8, by the way. 68 for 8.
it actually might unbelievable. This is um I'm telling you, ये तो मतलब just to ensure that the humiliation is complete, India should get these runs in like 10 overs or something.
Yeah. So, okay. Somebody disagrees with me or you, I guess. Both in Test and One Day,
Are you
Pujara is
showing the
not
questions?
scoring.
Basically, I don't see them.
No, no. So Pujara is not scoring 100. You need your one down to be a bit attacking. I disagree. I think in Test match cricket, you need a stable one down batsman because India has too many attacking players. I think Pujara is. Yeah, after Pujara, maybe we can go to. अच्छा 9वीं wicket भी चलेगी ये लगता है सत्यानाश. I think they have decided to get bowled out in the next 2-3 minutes as we wrap up our podcast.
This is unbelievable. मतलब it is so bad. मतलब नौ कैसे गई है? It's so bad. Cricinfo is not even updating. So पता है Cricinfo में एक आता है. So नीचे लिखा था 68 for 7. ऊपर preview में लिखा है 68 for 8. When you click on the page,
Okay.
it's like it's not
नहीं
even
आठ आठ
showing.
ही है, 8 ही है. I
आठ
मेरे
ही है.
मैंने
हाँ
8 ही है. मैंने पढ़ने में मिस्टेक कर दी. 8 ही है. मेरे को
हाँ
लगा 9 है.
8
मेरे
ही है.
को थोड़ा पढ़ने में मिस्टेक हो गई.
Hmm.
Okay, I think we
So
have covered. I think we have covered everything. Anything before we wrap it up? Okay, किसी ने लिखा है. Just like the Australian team is going downward post retirement of Aussie bigwigs, same thing happens to the Indian team as well. Your take. Last question, and then we'll wrap it up.
uh, which Indian bigwigs are retiring though? I don't
I
see.
think Kohli, Pujara, these are our
I think
bigwigs,
yeah, but I
and Rohit.
honestly think if Kohli at this point, if Kohli goes, our one-day team or T20 team will only get stronger.
टेस्ट मैच सफर करेगा. टेस्ट मैच सफर कर रहा है.
Test match suffer karega, but I think we have enough players who are there. We really need to stop looking at IPL performances for test matches. And one thing I think we need to do is start sending more Indian players to play county cricket.
Hmm.
Like I cannot, and not just England. उनको शेफील्ड शील्ड भेजो खेलने के लिए, उनको कैरेबियन में भेजो, श्रीलंका में भेजो, send them where you can for them to play. Like look what it did to Pujara. I think even Krunal Pandya is playing English domestic T20s and stuff because they go. It's not just them playing the English bowlers. They're also playing world class. So they're playing Shaheen Shah Afridi, who's playing in a team, or they're playing an Australian fast bowler and stuff. So ऐसे अगर अच्छे players को वो खेल रहे हैं तो it's better only for them. So I think Indian cricket is fine. I think yes, we'll suffer in terms of a couple of series blips and stuff, but Virat Kohli's status in the Indian cricket team is dependent on how he does in the Australia Tour of India coming later this year or early next year. I forget when it does. The 4 test matches that we are going to play are going to basically seal his fate. His T20, if he does not perform well in the T20 World Cup, I just don't see him getting picked in the T20 side for the next World Cup. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a very watershed moment, so to speak, for India to see what happens with Kohli.
I agree. I agree. All right, guys, we have to wrap it up because Adit also has to go now. So, Adit, as always, fun talking to you, and
We'll be
we'll
back
chat
next
again.
month.
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
be back next month again.
absolutely.
All right,
Uh,
guys, take care and please subscribe to the Cārvāka podcast channel, like the video, follow Adit on Twitter, and subscribe to the Mind Makers also. And you know the drill. If you want to support me, you can become a member on YouTube, subscriber on Patreon, or buy the Cārvāka podcast merch, or send your donations to UPI. I will see you tomorrow. I think, yeah, tomorrow I'm doing a podcast again. So until then, take care. Bye bye.